start recording this.
Hi, this is Chris. Are you on the join in on the go to meeting? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we're all well, people are still calling in. Yeah, no, we're still got one more to join. So, all right. All right. Thanks. Bye bye.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Jody. One of LeashTime. I'm a sales and support person for LeashTime. So,
Buddy.
who am I talking with?
This is Chris.
Hi, Chris. I can see all the people on, and I was thinking, oh my goodness. So, I assumed you were just talking to Ted. Ted?
Yeah, Ted was just on.
Okay.
Hey, Elaine, are you going to log in to go to meeting? The sitter training?
Chris, she's not coming.
Okay, Donna, I forgot. And she just reminded me. So how did your surgery go?
Oh, Ted, you are here.
That was the one I had called and left a message asking how it went
I
overnight. You called me back. Yeah, good. Good. Mhm. Cool. Mhm. Okay. Good. Good. Oh. Mhm. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, he was gonna. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And they're also going to be recording it so that you know you and Tammy can go in and probably watch the training another time. Yeah. Sure, I don't see why not. I'll ask them for that later when we're done. Okay. All right. Thanks, Elaine. Bye. Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Elaine's LASIK went well.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
um, let's see here. Let me go to. Okay, and I'm going to show my screen here in 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Are we okay to get started?
I think so. We've got everybody. Two sitters are not going to be able to join, but they can go through the recorded session later, I guess. With that.
Okay, no problem.
Chris, we're still missing JD, but I don't see why we can't get started. And she.
Oh yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, go right ahead. I'll give JD a call.
Okay.
But I'll out of the room.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna step out of the room. Okay.
Okay. First of all, thank you. My name's Ted Hubin, and thank you guys for taking time out of your, I know your busy days, and sitting through this training. I'm sure you're all aware that Chris is planning to transition over to LeashTime, which is our software system for managing visits and invoices and payables. Um, and she wanted to set up a session today to go through what you can do within LeashTime as sitters. And so I'm gonna run you through. Usually it's pretty straightforward. We find that most sitters find leash time to be fairly intuitive, and they pick it up pretty quickly. So the first thing we're looking at here is the screen you see after you log in. I've already logged in as a sitter in our sample database running dog pet care. Um, and so what you'll see here is the sitter's name is or nickname is Garcia. And so this is the schedule for Garcia for today. And it will show you today's appointments only when you initially log in. But if you wanted to change and either see past appointments or say maybe the next week, you can just change the ending date here and click show, and it will show you the next week's worth of appointments. It also is showing you the pay rates that um, you're, you're you're set to receive when you actually do the visits, and we keep a running total of the pay rates and the pay to the sitters in the system here, and you can access that as well from here. The important thing to note about pay, and the policy will vary from business to business, but the rule is still the same in leash time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've actually done the visit. If you don't mark it complete, then your pay won't be calculated in here. And so therefore, if the business is using leash time to calculate the amount owed to you, that won't get calculated in there. So it's important to mark these visits complete. And so to do that, you would go up to the main menu here and go to schedule and mark visits complete. And there are no incomplete visits for today, even though Garcia has visits. And the reason for that is, uh, they haven't gone into, a past due state yet. The time windows actually haven't started yet. So they're not eligible to be marked complete. But as the day goes on and these time windows, change after, starting at noon, um, the those visits will become available to be marked complete. So typically if you're using the web login, um, you'll come in maybe at the end of the day and go ahead and designate visits that are completed. But what I can show you here in the mark complete section is it's also telling you of incomplete visits from previous days. Please click here to review them. So I click there and I can see those visits from previous days. And it goes all the way back to April, and you can see that there's a little checkbox by the visits that you can use to indicate marking complete. Um, Now, a shortcut to that is check all visits completed, and it will just check everything. And so if you have 10 visits for the day or 5 visits, and you did them all, then you can just go check all visits completed, and then mark all check visits completed. Once you click that button, then it's done. It's in the books. It's being calculated um, as part of your pay. The thing you can also do here is you can actually type in a note. Dog was aggressive today. Okay, and this will get attached to the visit. The important thing to note about the note is when you type this in, all the clients can see everything you type here. This note, whatever you type here, can be seen by the client. So you obviously want to be very careful about, what you say there, and realize that whatever you say, the client's going to be able to read. So we'll get rid of that note. Uh, Before we come back here and actually mark these complete, I'll show you the pay, and it says we'll look at the current pay, and what this is showing is um, these are all the visits for which Garcia is owed money or needs to be paid for, but has not been paid. So it's just an itemization, and you can see we're not really running regular payrolls out of here, so it goes all the way back to January. Um, and then what will happen is, as you mark those visits complete, this will be updated, and then so you'll always be able to get a running total of what you're owed, or what you need to invoice to the business if you're an independent contractor. Um, and then if then the business pays you whatever they owe you, and this list is cleared, and that becomes part of your pay history, and you can see previous pay statements. Okay, so and you can go back and review old pay statements and look at what the check number was and an itemization of what you were actually paid for. Okay, so if we go to current pay, 1566, and then we go to marks visits completed, and we actually mark them complete, check all visits completed, 126 appointments. Okay, they all disappear here, so this is all up to date. And then we go to current pay, and now it's recalculated the total amount that's currently due to you. Okay, let's go back to the home page here. So this is, again, the page that you see when you initially log in. Couple things to note. The little icon next to the client's name is a printer icon, and allows you to pull up a detailed visit sheet. So it has all the information about this client that's on file. It may be a little sporadic here. Let's see if there's another one that has more detail. Yeah, this is a little more detailed. So this has more detailed information. Max McGuckin is the client. And you can see that there are, alarm codes, if they're in the profile there, and the time of the visit. Uh, Sometimes you don't need the details for the clients. Maybe oftentimes you don't. If you're seeing the same clients, day in and day out, you don't need to see the details over and over again. So instead, what you might print is a visit summary. So and the button up here, visit summary, will just list the visits that you need to do for the day. Melinda, Max McGuckin, Renita, and then pertinent alarm information. And so this is, one sheet instead of one sheet one sheet for all the visits rather than one sheet for a single detailed profile. And then you can click print this visit sheet summary, and it'll be a printer friendly formatted version. There are a couple of other things you can do in here. If I click on the service name, dog walk, so I clicked on dog walk here, I can actually request some things about this service. So I can request a cancellation, and client says they are not doing visit. Okay, so if I do that, then I go request cancellation. It says cancellation is pending. What happens when you did that was you've sent a cancellation request to headquarters, or the main office, and they'll be able to see that a cancellation was requested, read whatever note was attached to it, and then go ahead and formally cancel it. And then the visit will appear in red here. And let me actually process that cancellation, because I do want you to see some of the colors that happen there. You'll log in at various times, and those visits will be in different colors, and the colors mean things. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this visit, and I will go back to the sitter list and go back to Garcia, and you'll see it's now this visit is now canceled. So you see the visit still here, and you see that it's canceled. And sometimes people don't want to see the cancels, or it looks like it's kind of cluttering their screen. And other times you really do want to see the cancels, because you want to know that there was something you were supposed to do there regularly, and today is an exception, so you want it to be noted. Um, Generally, you're going to see cancels more than you're not. you know, if you see these cancels and you don't particularly want to see them, generally there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So, when you see these, don't be, alarmed, but these are cancellations, and you may want to sort of verify by phone with the office. Is that really a cancellation? So, but this visit is now in a canceled state, and it's probably not supposed to be done. Um, the other thing that happens is if you mark these visits complete, they will, and we can't mark them complete yet because the time window hasn't happened. They will turn green. Um, Let me see if we can go back. Um, okay, so I'm looking backwards here, and we can see that we just marked all the visits complete in the past, and you can see they're all highlighted in green. So green means that they're completed. You've already marked them complete. Red means they're canceled, and yellow means the time window has passed, and you have not yet marked it complete. So it's sort of a in-between state. Okay. Um, the other thing you can do, if you want to, sometimes this comes up. If you want to do a note that's private, right? Remember, when you mark the visits complete, the notes are not private. You can edit the visit, and it says here change appointment. Um, this is not so much a change appointment, but this is a private note. You can say, dog is really aggressive. Can you flag them that way? And so once you do this, that again gets sent to the central office, and it is not viewable by the client. So the central office basically gets it, and they decide what they want to do with that. Do they want to make it part of the open profile? Do they want to make a private note? Um, and then the other thing you can do here is um, review the clients or your client list. And your client list will be clients that are clients that you are the primary for, or that you have upcoming visits for. Um, and what you can do is if you click on one of these clients' names, you can see their profile and request that an update be done to their profile. And again, that goes to the central office. They get to review it, and then maybe you want to change. You want to say the leash location's in the kitchen under the sink, and food is in the basement. Okay, um, and meter maids are aggressive. So we're updating this client's profile, and again, you're submitting this change request. And there's a note that comes up here. Thanks for submitting changes to this client's profile, and they'll appear in the profile after the office has reviewed and approved them, just to make sure everything, keeping all the information straight. Um, the other thing you can do here is schedule time off. So again, uh, if you go to admin, schedule time off, you can click on the clock icon, and basically, uh, pick a day to start or a single day. So click the plus sign here, and let's make sure this is big enough. And you can just go, I want time off all day on the 26th, or you can actually set specific times. I'll be unavailable from, in the midday time for in the midday between 11 and 1. So you can do all day, or you can do a specific time. Or time window for a single day. And then if you want this pattern to repeat, let's say you're unavailable on Wednesdays, from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock, um, for the entire summer because you're taking a class or have some other obligation, you can actually come down here and have the pattern repeat from the 22nd to maybe, September 23rd. And you can say every day, or you can pick the actual days, Monday and Wednesdays, you're unavailable from 11 to 1 until 9:23. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And if you make a mistake, it's really not that big a deal to clean it up or correct it. It's not like uh, there's going to be some permanent damage done. So um, just it's pretty straightforward, I think. But if you're coming at it and you know you're a little bit nervous about it, just go ahead and try it and see if you if it shows up the way you expect. So I set it up this way, and then I go save new time off, and um, and then I can see it on my calendar here. So basically, I set the time off as a sitter, and then I'm going to see it on the calendar, and you can visually verify that's right. So we look at there's Tuesday, Wednesday, and then in July, Monday, Wednesday. If we go back to June here, because we started on a Tuesday, it's creating it on the Tuesday, even though it's a Monday, Wednesday pattern. Okay, it because the first day we set was the Tuesday. Um, so really, if we didn't want this Tuesday, we should have started it on this Monday or this Wednesday. But it's assuming that because you clicked into that day, that you also want that day, and then the pattern to occur.
What are the blue crosses on the previous days then?
What's that?
What are the blue crosses on the previous days?
Um, if I wanted to add, you click the blue cross if you want to add a time off uh, for that particular day, and then if you're going to have it recurring for that particular from that day forward. So if I can click on this and I can delete this and all repeats, okay, and I can go, oh, you know what? I didn't mean to start that on a Tuesday. I meant to start that on a Monday. So until I'm going to be off for maybe 2 weeks, um, and so now I just said all day for the next 2 weeks. Maybe I'm going away for a vacation for a while. Um, does that answer your question?
It's showing blue crosses
Ted,
on the 2nd, 23rd, and 24th, yet you started it on the 25th. What are the blue crosses on the previous days for?
Okay. All the blue crosses are those are days that are available, right? We're the 21st is not available scheduled time off because
Okay,
it's in the past.
okay. Blue cross doesn't mean anything then.
All the blue crosses is what you need to click to add a time off
Oh, okay.
for that particular day.
Ted, we had a question from Shauna. She wanted to know if there was an option for scheduling reoccurring every other week.
Reoccurring every other week. Let's see. Let's say specific times. Let's just pick morning. Um,
I'm thinking there was the first or the
Second.
every yeah. I think this is what you're probably wanting. Um, if you started, is it the same day every other week?
No, yes, it's every other, say Wednesday.
Okay, okay. Well, let's do it. Let's do it that way so that we don't get confused with terminology. Every other. Let's see here. Let's just say midday. And let's just go through September. Um, and every second Wednesday. And okay, so whatever the first time off is, that's the date you want to click this cross, and then you want to if we go to July here, um, there's our July, August. Oh, yeah, it's a monthly pattern as opposed to a bi-weekly. It's every other. Is that? I think this is not going to give you what you want, which is um,
Yeah, I went through it the other day trying out quite a few things, and that was the only thing that I found that I couldn't do, and that would be awfully handy,
Um,
like a biweekly setting.
yeah, let's see here. I'm trying to think if there's a, mm,
I just did it. I mean, I just ended up doing it manually, but couldn't find any kind of way to do it because, yeah, second or third or fourth or something doesn't work because there's alternating numbers of weeks per month.
yeah, yeah. We'll come back to that one later. There's no, the, I guess at some point we sort of stopped with, as far as like, the different pattern options, because you can kind of get yourself, um, there can be
That's
too
fine.
many
I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something. Thanks.
options. So when you do this, go ahead. Is there something?
I was just going to ask Ted. This is Jody. There's not a cut and paste, or there's not a highlight and paste option for like a regular schedule for a client, right?
No, there isn't. But what you can do is, if you see if you set up a pattern that's fairly close to what you want, what you do is you go, let me let me clean this up. Let me do this and delete this on all repeats. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, if I were to do this, probably a good way to do this would be sort of a workaround would be, um, till November, and then every Wednesday. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new time off every single Wednesday. So then I go to July, August, September. So what I would do instead is just create the pattern and then come here and go, okay, um, delete just this time off, and then delete just this time off, rather than having to create it again. It's probably a little easier to delete it, right? Because you can delete the specific time offs, once you've created a recurring pattern. Delete this time off, right? And then your schedule is, probably accurate at this point. It's biweekly now. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And then Ted, we also had a question from Pamela. This goes back to when the job is canceled. If something is canceled, can they find out why by clicking on it?
Um, okay. Uh, it depends. So it depends on what your manage whoever the administrative person is. You can put a note on here. So this is canceled, Renita Simone, and so let's say the office gets the cancellation, right? They okay. So there's Renita Simone. The office can go, you know, client called and said, dog was sick. So there's a notation that's put on here, and if we go back to logging in as Garcia, the sitter, we'll see. Oh, the office put a note on here. So if the office doesn't put a note, or no, if the client calls in and whoever's actually canceling it in the office does not put a note on here, then you won't see one. But if they do, you will see one. So this is a place where you can put the reason that it was canceled, but it's not, required or anything. Um,
Pamela, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
and this note can also be used for, um, let's say, Melinda is it's just a regular recurring client, and she's, um, you know, there's nothing extraordinary about what you have to do for her, but all of a sudden the dog has to take some medications for a period of time. Uh, what your administrative people can do is they can go and, um, um, put a note on this visit and say, you know, Give them meds, antibiotics, right? So, this is different than doing this on the profile, right? That would show up on the visit sheet. The visit sheet's kind of like um, the permanent stuff about the client. The alarm code's never changing, or not changing. The leash location probably isn't changing. But this is something that's important to note, that it will also be on the visit sheet, but you need to really have it highlighted for one or maybe a handful of visits. Like they need to get medications this week, so you put the note on here so that way it stands out for you, and you go, oh, there's something special I have to do here. Give them antibiotics. Um, so when you see that, that's probably important. Um, that's pretty much the run through of the web sitter functionality. One other thing you can do is you can change your password, and if you've gotten passwords, I'm not sure how they've been distributed, but if you have a password that you would prefer to have or use, you can always change it. And those passwords are encrypted, so in order for anyone else besides you to log in, they'd have to actually change your password they have to reset it. So they're completely private and encrypted. And then I'm going to show you the mobile application, and we've logged in as a sitter to another one of our demo businesses, and we
Ted,
see, yes.
excuse me, is there a way to enlarge that? It
Mm,
looks really small.
let's see here.
I need to put that on my phone.
Let me see if this will help at all. Does what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to um, I'm going to try to show only that part of the screen. I have a very big screen, so I have to zoom everything in. Let's see here, zoom. Okay. I'm not sure that. Well, let me actually let me try it. Oh, that's not going to work either.
If you hit the zoom on the top left-hand corner to 75%, it makes it bigger.
Which one?
Well, not
Right
you,
underneath,
but whoever,
put a meeting viewer.
yeah, the person, whoever needs to see it bigger.
Oh. Ah, okay. So on our own screens, we can.
Make it bigger.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's big. Now I gotta move it.
Okay, everybody zoomed in now. And actually, if there's anything you miss here, I'm recording this, so this should probably you can kind of come back and look at this. Um, the, there are a couple things here that first I'm going to show you what you can do when you use the mobile version of this, um, and then I'll show you. I'll point out a couple of common configuration problems. Okay, so first thing is when you log in, you'll see a list of visits, just like we saw when we logged in on the web. and we'll see this is that note, needs meds, and this one doesn't have a note. So it, basically gives you some of the key information: the time window, the client, the pet name. Um, these little numbers here indicate that you're missing a key and you need a key, or you need key number 154. Um, and so you go through your list here and review what you have to do. And I put a bunch of visits on for this particular sitter, um, and so you'll uh, if you want to see detailed information, or the equivalent of the visit sheet, you'll tap on the client name, and you'll see the client's name is Carmelo Barone, key number 154, which you need, as indicated by the key icon, and this in red. And then the time for the service, the note, and this is kind of the visit details. And then down here are really the client profile details. And if there's a photo for the pet, it'll show up here as well. So you can, clients can put photos online, or um, your administrators can put them online. You may or may not be using these, but these are called flags, and they're little graphical icons that that mean something in your business. So, and they can mean different things in different businesses. So, Chris could define STAR to mean this is a very important client. You need to make sure you make no mistakes and you're very thorough. That could be what it means in your business. And then the Red Cross means that this pet needs medications. So make sure that you understand what the medications are that you have to give them. And if you tap on these, it will define what they are, or show you what the definitions are. So this is a dangerous dog, a value client. They need they've got health concerns, and it's also a small dog. So if you see these, it's just sort of a quick way to summarize what the very important things are about a client. And then to get back to that visit list, we just tap on the dog again here, and we see Carmelo Barone. Now there's a couple of things we can do here. This is just a quick detail summary of the visit. So this is not the whole visit sheet. It's just a summary of the visit. And you can tap this down arrow to indicate that you've arrived at the client's location, and it will grab your GPS coordinates. So the first time it attempts to grab your GPS coordinates, it has to ask permission from you to share your GPS coordinates. If you say you don't allow it, then it's not going to be able to grab your location, and it kind of messes up other things up in the system. Like there's other places where you kind of have to keep clicking. So in general, you're going to want to go okay. And so you've just indicated that you've arrived. That arrow disappears, that gets logged, and the office can see on a map, where the GPS location was and the timestamp for when you arrived. And then let's go. And again, you can always click the dog to go back to the list of visits. And once you're done with the visit, you can click tap the check mark, and we go, okay, we're going to allow the GPS locations, and you can type a note, did great, and you can then go mark complete. And now that visit is marked complete. It's now in green. So, and that's, the office can see that. They can see it on a map, and they can see that everything's fine with that visit. So basically, we really look at this as a tool to get like real-time information about what the status of a visit is. We've had quite a few businesses that had upwards of 30 or 40 sitters out on a given day doing 8 to 10 visits. I mean, they were doing a lot of visits, and at that point, you know, usually a sitter is calling in sick every day. Something's going on with the sitter every day, so visits have to constantly be reassigned, and a lot of times that's happening at the last minute. And you know, what we wanted to do was have a system where in real time the office could see, oh, the time window's passed, nobody's marked this thing complete. Maybe they don't know that they got reassigned this visit, so maybe we need to call them, or we need to you know, resolve this issue. And there's been a couple of instances where email wasn't good enough. You know, they might not have been looking at their email, or getting it, or you know, if you're using the web interface, you're probably not logging into the web during the day to see you know, updated visit stuff. So the the purpose of this mobile application was for you to be able to mark things complete as you went along, so that the office had real-time information. And then you know, basically in this industry, unlike say you know, maybe some, maybe lawn care or something, if you miss something by a couple hours, you're putting an animal in jeopardy. So that was kind of the reason for doing this. And so we provide, you know, some of the mapping tools on the office end, so they can see anything that's not completed yet, and that maybe should have been completed. And that way they can know these are the visits we should look at. Uh, okay, so that's that's those are kind of the basics. The other thing you're going to find is if you tap to go to a detail for a client profile, which I just did here, um, that's going to time out very quickly. When you initially log in here, you're going to have like an 8-hour session, but this is going down another level, is going to time out after about 5 minutes. And the reason for that is, let's say you lose your phone. Um, well, this is where all the sensitive information is about a client, like say alarm codes, or um, you know, access instructions. So, um, whoops. So that's going to time out pretty quickly. So you may be prompted to type your password in again. And we apologize in advance, but that's probably a you know, pretty firm security issue that we're unlikely to change. And then you can
That's only if you're within a client's profile?
yes. So this list here, this list you see here, you'll be able to see all day long
Okay.
and mark them complete all day long. But if you want to go down a level and look at the detailed profile information, you're going to you're likely going to have to type your password in again.
Ted, we had a question on whether there was a plan. JD asked if there was a plan for an actual app. Can you maybe explain?
Yes. Well, let's put it this way: uh, we've been on and off with this for over a year now, and you know, there's a you know, obviously this is something that you do in the Safari browser, but there's you know, we've also got something where in an actual app you've got you're doing real-time tracking, GPS tracking, and I think that there are other issues there. Like if you do real-time GPS tracking, it consumes the battery pretty heavily. Um, there's also the issue of you know, you kind of go back and forth as to whether this is a you know, this functionality is what a sitter needs. There's no need to really necessarily write an app. Uh, you know, what other things would you need to do that you would need sort of a native app for? Um, except for maybe real-time GPS tracking. So we do have that. We just haven't released it yet. And there's a couple other things that I guess you probably can tell that my voice is a little hesitant because we've wanted to do things here, and this is something that we've built but have not released yet. Um, so this is a map-centric view of of the visits, with the ability to kind of switch over to the web view if you wanted to. But this is natively running, and it's if I was moving, it would be grabbing my GPS locations as I was moving along here, and then sending it to the server and updating the map in real time, so it would actually show you these routes. It would trace the routes that you were actually taking. Um, the really our focus on probably the native version of this is what can and should the manager, the administrator, be able to do, because they can do a lot of things when they're in the web when they're in the web account. Um, so we have to sort of boil down, because this is only a couple of inches of screen. What's reasonable that they absolutely need to do when they're moving around on their iPhone, and then same thing with the iPad. Um, so you'll see a native app from us at some point. We just haven't determined what it will and will not do.
Perfect. That answers my question. Thank you.
And then Pamela had a question. I'm sorry, Pamela had a question on does the client see the note, and is this our online log? And
yes,
obviously, yes, the client can see the note.
Client still sees the note.
Yeah, and as far as is this your online log, I guess that would be a question for Chris, if this is,
When you say online log,
Yes. Yes. Since we're switching from a handwritten daily log to online notes.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, 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 good. I see you have procedure there for okay. Yeah, so if you type that note and you tell the client every day when I'm done, um, and I wrote my note about the visit, you can just log into your client account and you'll see it. Um, yes, I think that's what you're saying, and that's correct. Um,
And Chris, I guess the comment for that is that the client can actually log in and see those notes. If your staff are out doing the mobile version and updating their notes, the client's going to see those on in their office. They could pull up the schedule and they could see their notes, if that
Yes.
makes sense. I mean, I know clients are constantly like, oh, did the dog poop? Did the dog pee? So it's, yeah.
oh, actually, on our to-do list is a very strong request is a number 1 and number 2 button.
A number 1 and number 2 button.
So you
Okay.
can I really actually I was laughing out loud when I got the request, and I was like, wow, this is just one of those unique things about this particular business. Um, number 1, number 2, and it's just real easy to click and go. That's what they did, and it's important. It's important. It's just kind of funny.
Well, it is for somebody who's been in an office all day and they want to determine if they can go to the grocery store on the way home or whether they got to run home and let the dog back out. So, yeah.
Right.
Well, and I guess kind of going along those same lines, if you're kind of looking at a number 1 and number 2 button, there would be food, water, litter, other little buttons like that.
I love it. Yeah, I could.
It could be checked. I mean, of course, Ted, you and I can talk more about this. What we do on our daily log is have check marks for those little boxes. And if we're switching from a daily log to online notes, that would be fabulous. That way the client would know food, water, meds, litter, check, 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 and then a note or comment about how the visit went.
I, the minute you said that, I sort of visualized this. I forget what they call those, Pinterest or the other thing. A couple of these very very popular apps where there's a series of images that you can click and sort of manipulate, and you just tap the images. There's image icons, and you just tap tap tap, and then go done, and it's all updated, and it gets written out however you customize wanted to write it out. So yeah, I love it. Um, so uh, okay, getting back to this. The I guess I'll have to log in again here. I'll show you the login. That's good too. LeashTime.com. Okay, when you go to a Safari, you want to go to LeashTime.com slash, and that's a forward slash app lowercase, exactly as I have it written here. Okay, and then
Again, where? I'm sorry, say that again, where?
um,
Oops,
okay, let me start over.
sorry.
Okay, so you're gonna want to tap your Safari, and then you're going to want to type LeashTime dot. Well, let's do this. LeashTime.com forward slash app. Okay, and then uh, go, and you'll see this. Okay, if you don't type app, you'll see this. Okay, and you don't want to see that. Um, so then, um, okay, so then what you can do here actually is um, you can tap here, and you can go um, add to home screen, and you can call this my leash time account. Okay, and you add it, and so it's just an icon that it shows up like any of these other apps. Um, and then so we click that or tap it, and you don't have to do Safari or anything. Once you've done this, add to home screen. Um, it'll just show up in your list of available apps, and you just tap it, and then from here and you log in, and there we are. Okay. Um, now, if you have problems, you're going to want to make sure you do this. Um, you go to settings. Okay. Um, make sure your location services are on, and then for Safari, you're going to want to make sure that the first time you log into LeashTime, you're going to want to say accept cookies always. And then you're going to also want to make sure your JavaScript is on. Okay. And I like to say you want to turn your block pop-ups off, but you can keep them on. If I turn my JavaScript off, and which I had it off right before this call, and I thought I broke something. Okay, I just tried to log in, and it's not working. It's stuck here. Um, so if you turn your JavaScript off, or if it's off, you'll probably have a problem logging in. Okay, so you just want to have that turned on. And if you're not familiar with settings, it's a little gear-looking thing here. Just tap it, and let me do it again because I was already a level deep. Just tap it, find Safari, Tap that and make sure you go accept cookies always, and JavaScript is on. And also, you're going to want to make sure your location services are on. Um, and let me do this. Let me quit that. That is, um, oh, okay. I wanted to show you that it might be slightly different uh, in the older versions of the iPhones for the location tracking. So for the older versions, you might have a GPS tracking option that you definitely want to be turned on under Safari rather than under general settings. And if you have any problems, I mean, just let us know and we'll walk you through it. And that's pretty much it. Any? Let's go here. Let me see if I can pull up a map. Um, okay. It's a little bit it's a little bit funky to bring up a map here because of I'm not really actually uh, marking these where physically where they're located. So that's why we got to kind of uh, change this map setting here for the view. Let's see here. Okay, so that's that visit, Carmelo Barone, and we'll see. This is what your office can see. You arrived at 9:36 a.m. and you completed at 9:37 a.m. And so it's showing that the status of that visit, so they can keep track of what visits are um, completed and not completed. And the indicator for that, I think it's marking it. I The GPS is going to be off from where the visit is, right? There's going to be a GPS marker here. Um, in this case, because I'm doing it stationary, and the visit is actually, you know, um, 20 miles away from where I'm located. But there would be an indicator here indicating that a GPS coordinate was obtained. Um, and that's pretty much it. Is there any other, or are there any other questions, concerns, suggestions? Um,
Ted, I think the only question we didn't address was the timeout is like 8 hours or something on the computer, right? I mean,
on the
the program
computer,
timing out.
yeah, and on the first level of the phone. So when you log into uh, the phone version of this, um, the list of visits, just the list of all the visits, that won't time out for, I believe it's 8 hours. Um, but if you try to go down and get details about a client's profile, um, that's going to time out after, say, 5 minutes, I believe. So they're very very different, timeouts. So if you never need any of the details, then you'll never be inconvenienced. And if you do need the details, then you'll just have to retype your password. You may want to change your password to something that's relatively easy to, you know, um,
Type.
type in in that form factor, and what you can do, you can type in a new password. Um, any other questions? Um, okay, well, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your days to go through this. We're excited to get you going. There is also um, uh, a little button on the bottom of every page, comments or bugs. So if you see something that doesn't work or not behaving the way you expected, you can send the comments or bugs. Usually, we try to make sure that we may respond to Chris, um, just to make sure that uh, she knows if something's needs to be changed or reconfigured or something. Obviously, the person in the office should know about it, or you know. So, um, okay. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate you guys sitting through the training this morning.
Thank you very much, Ted and Jody. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good weekend, y'all.
You too. Thank you. Yes. Ted, are you still there?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Can I give you a call in about 5 minutes?
Yes. Okay.
A direct call? Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Sure thing.
All right. Thanks a lot.